916 words, within the 855-945 target range. Here's the final script. The quietly boiling reason your own blood hides a river that can cook you alive from the inside. And in 2011, it swallowed a boa constrictor whole, its eyes clouding white before its body even stopped moving. Somewhere in the Amazon, water reaches near boiling with no volcano for 700 kilometers. Your body already knows the exact number that turns flesh into meat. This river runs on it. And nobody, not scientists, not the tribes who guard it, will tell you why the jungle grew a wound this hot. Deep in Peru, past roads, past maps that bother to update, a river called Shanade steams through the rainforest for 4 miles. Locals call it the river boiled by the heat of the sun. That name is a lie meant to protect you from the real one. This water hits 94 degrees Celsius, 200 degrees Fahrenheit. Hot enough that a fall doesn't burn you, it starts cooking you, layer by layer, while you're still conscious enough to feel everyone. Fishermen won't cross it, guides won't wade it, and for centuries the only humans who dared study it were shamans, because they believed something living underneath was the one boiling the water, not the earth. In 2011, geologist Andres Russo heard his grandfather's stories of this river and assumed they were folklore, the kind every family exaggerates around a fire. Then he stood at the bank and watched steam rise off moving water in 86-degree jungle heat. He measured it, 94 degrees Celsius, sustained, for miles. No volcano sat within 700 kilometers to explain it. The nearest magma chamber capable of that heat was continents away. Boiling rivers are supposed to need a volcano underneath them. This one had nothing. Just fractured rock, and a fault line running straight down towards something hotter than it had any right to be this close to the surface. Russo watched a rainstorm hit the river and the water kept boiling through it, unbothered, like the storm wasn't even real. Locals showed him carcasses along the bank, a tapir, a boa, animals that slipped on wet stone and never climbed back out. Their flesh had already gone opaque and white, the same thing that happens to an egg in a pot. Cooked, not drowned. Here's where it stops being a river story and starts being a you story. Your blood runs at 37 degrees Celsius. At 40, you're in a fever emergency room. At 45, your proteins begin to unfold and misfire, the same mechanism, just slower, that turns clear egg white opaque in a hot pan. Your body is built around a 4-degree margin between alive and cooked. That's not a metaphor. That's the actual chemistry holding you together right now. The boiling river simply crosses that line permanently, and geology doesn't care that you evolved to fear fire but not water. So scientists went looking for the volcano everyone assumed had to be hiding underneath and found nothing. What they found instead was worse, in a quieter way. Fault lines beneath the river run unusually deep, deep enough to tap heat the crust normally keeps locked far below reach. Rainwater sinks miles down through these cracks, gets superheated by that trapped heat, then rockets back to the surface through the same fractured channels. No magma required, just geometry and pressure doing something geologists still can't fully model here. It's called a non-volcanic geothermal system, and true ones this large are almost unheard of. The Amazon basin, of all places, on paper one of the most geologically boring regions on Earth, is somehow sitting on a heat source large enough to boil a 4-mile river continuously, year-round, regardless of rain, season, or logic. Russo's team drilled and sampled and still couldn't fully trace where the heat bottoms out. The fault just keeps going down, past what their instruments could reach, into rock that stays anomalously hot for reasons nobody has published a confirmed answer for. Local Ashaninka shamans have a simpler explanation. A giant serpent spirit, Yakumama, mother of the water, lives beneath the river and is the one doing the boiling. Scientists smile at that story in interviews. None of them have replaced it with a better one. What this means is unsettling once you sit with it. If a river this hot can exist with no volcano feeding it, then heat like this could, in theory, be building somewhere else entirely unmonitored. Under farmland, under a town, under rock everyone assumed was geologically dead. The fault system beneath Shanade isn't unique to the Amazon. It's a type of structure that exists in fractured crust worldwide, just rarely tapped this deep or this productively. Most of those faults stay cold and silent forever. A few, for reasons still not fully mapped, don't. Ruzo's own foundation now works to protect the river from loggers and developers who don't understand what they're standing next to, not because it might erupt, but because nobody can say with certainty what conditions let a heat source like this form quietly, undetected, for who knows how long before anyone noticed the steam. So the question isn't really why the Amazon grew a boiling river. It's how many quieter versions of that same fault are sitting underground somewhere right now, warming a few degrees a decade, with no shaman's legend and no geologist's grandfather to send anyone out to go check.